were sparkling, and on her cheeks were diamonds red, and on her breast you wore a lily to mourn the tears that I have shed, and oh, her name I did not know.
This weekend, Dingle welcomes a special performer who is known to many of us for varying reasons. While Doyle Kennedy has starred in some of the most popular television and drama series of the last 2 decades, this multifaceted talent brings her musical gifts to an enthralled Dingle audience. Now she joins us on the red sofa in McCarthy's to tell us all about it. Now Dingle welcomes an artist who's known to many of us for varying reasons. While Doyle Kennedy starred in some of the most popular television and dramas of the last 2 decades, her musical talents are something that are not to be ignored. She joins us here on the red sofa in McCarthy's to tell us all about that. So welcome, Maria.
Thank you very much.
To start out with, I have to say, when I was doing research on an interviewee, as you do, you normally read some negative and positive, but there's absolutely nothing negative about you.
No way, really?
At all, yeah. I actually had to say that to you because there's nothing at all.
It's because anybody who said anything bad about me, I've had them killed.
Oh, okay. That explains that.
Yeah.
But to start with, of course, you're known to many of us as Natalie from The Commitments. But we're here to talk, of course, about your musical career. Can you tell us where all that started?
Well, my mother says that I was singing from as the minute the get-go, really. I remember myself, one of the first things I ever remember really clearly was Dolly Parton, was Jolene, that song being a big hit on the radio when I was a kid, and listening to it and just singing it over and over and over again. And all of the songs from that time are really sort of hardwired in my brain, I have to say, just from listening to the radio. I always liked to sing. It made me happy, made me feel kind of safe. It made me not think about things. I don't really think when I'm singing. Something about my active brain switches off or something, and it's something more instinctive or some. That sounds a bit mad, but yeah. So
nice way to put it.
Yeah, I think it's probably the truest expression of for me. Sometimes don't get things right really in talking, but I know what I'm doing when I'm singing.
Very nice. That's a very nice way to put it. Of course, you're quite an established actress, quite an established musician. Is there any, could you say there's any contrast between the two? Is there any way, do they complement each other in any way? Or, how do you feel when you're singing? How do you feel when you're acting?
They're completely different expressions. I mean, acting is a extremely collaborative world. You'll probably be part of a kind of a 100 strong team making a film, or even in a big collaborative an ensemble TV series or something, and you're given the words, and so all you do really is form how you think what the truth of those words is for the character you're playing. The rest of it is not your responsibility. So in some ways that's kind of it's easy in a way. I mean, you have to show up and you have to know your lines. People always say, "God, aren't you great?" If you meet people on a job like that, and sometimes they'd say, "Aren't you? You're here working and you have a family and everything." And I don't know, just turning up and knowing your lines is far easier than being home and running a family of 4, I think. But singing then is completely different because everything is my responsibility and Kieran's. I mean, we're totally a team, but we do everything. We write the songs, so usually I would write the words and he would write the music, and sometimes that's not quite it, but often that's sort of the balance. And because I write them, I suppose they're actual expressions of how I feel and things that I observe, things that I see. So it's a much truer thing of me, and also you're more vulnerable in that position, I suppose, because you're exposing some of your own thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
But also, and we run our own record label, so and we record the records. Kieran produces them, so we have the responsibility for everything in that situation. So it's a much greater amount of stuff to decide on, but at the same time, then it's fantastic to be able to get to make those decisions yourself.
Yeah, you have a lot of say over production and editing and all that with your own record label. Of course, you're a mother, you're a successful actress, you have your own record label, a successful singer. You know, how do you do it all?
You sellotape. Yeah, you sort of feel you are sticking it together sometimes. I mean, I think they're the same kind of decisions for any working parent, mother or father, or you know, it's a big juggle sometimes, and I don't think anybody finds it easy. But I was raised to believe that I had a brain and opinions and ideas and talents of my own, and that I should seek them out and use them. So I don't think I'd be doing my family any favours if I was just sitting at home wishing that I was, you know, out there doing other things. But at the same time, I would never compromise the stability, I suppose, or the safety of the boys to go off and do something else. I mean, we kind of, and luckily because I work with Kieran, so it's all the same family, you know. We prioritise, I suppose. God, it's noisy here, isn't it? We have all kinds of things going on. Yeah, that's all right though. A working bar, yeah. Where you'll mostly find me, yeah. The boys have to come first. You know, if you have children, they haven't chosen to be born. You've chosen to bring them in and give them, raise them, and you have a duty to do that as best as you can. Yeah. But perhaps the way we do it, some people mightn't think is the best way. I mean, we've taken them on the road sometimes when they were in school, but we've brought the school books and done the schooling. They've always come back kind of up with the class, and then they've seen and learned all those other things from traveling and from being away. So I think that's also fantastic education. So it's tricky, you know, but you just kind of decide that that's what you'd like to do and how you'd like to do it, and sometimes it doesn't quite work out, or you know, sometimes
very, very well.
Well, we're giving it a whack anyway.
Talking about the music there, you're involved in every aspect of it, from, you know, the songwriting to the producing to the performing. What aspect or what section of it, if you like, do you enjoy the most?
I love writing songs. It's very exciting if you suddenly get an idea, or you hear a little tune in your head, and it just sounds like something beautiful to you. That's very exciting. One of the songs on the new album, Sing, the song is called Yes We Will, and after we had written it, Kieran had this beautiful riff on the guitar, and he played it and just played it for a while, and then this kind of song came very quickly, actually, the idea of it. And after we had written it and we played it a couple of times, I heard John Prine's voice. Honest to, I'll have to keep saying to people, I was completely sober at the time, but I really did hear him singing in my head, and I managed to get the song to him, and he agreed to sing on it with us. So it's a duet now. I'm so proud of that. Yeah, I think he's an absolute legend. He's a hero, a total hero of mine. So I love that bit of writing, and then playing live. I mean, playing live, I think, is the same thing as being at a really good gig. You know, just for a certain space and time, a certain couple of hours, like everybody in the room is kind of plugged into the same thing. I think it's very, you know, not to sound too arsey about it, but I think it's a important human contact for me. It's a communal expression of something, that we're in the same space and kind of raising our voices together. I do pretty much always make people sing. Playing live, yeah.
Very good.
It's fantastic.
Spoke there a little about the new album. You know, I know you've had 4 albums out now. What can we expect from this new album?
Well, maybe you always feel this about the new ones, but I really think it's the best thing that we've ever done in a country mile. It's quite kind of organic, I suppose. It started off just really sitting around playing and singing together. Kieran with his guitar, and a little bit, I had piano sometimes near me, and it sounds like I carry a piano around in my pocket and break it out sometimes. No. After that idea with John Prine, a couple of other songs seemed to kind of suggest singers to me, and so there are a few other duets on it as well. I've recorded the lead track, Sing. The album's called Sing, and there's a song called Sing, and I've recorded that with Damien Rice, who's a friend and a beautiful singer.
Fantastic musician, yeah.
And then there's a third collaboration with Paul Grady.
Oh, yeah.
who, again, I've just admired for years, and he's just got the most incredible voice, and I have quite a deep voice, and he has quite a high voice, so I thought the idea about that, and that it was the man with the higher voice as well, and the woman with the lower voice would be kind of interesting texture. So I asked him. Now again, I asked them, and they said, well, I'd like to hear it, and luckily they really liked the songs and said, yes, I think I could offer something on that. So
good. Well, we'll
yeah, it's exciting. I'm really delighted myself. Yeah, it'll be out. Hopefully, a rough plan is to have a single out before the summer and the album released in September. But again, because it's our own stuff, we sort of, we just have to kind of feel our way towards that.
Well, we look forward to the release of your album, but of course we're doing the interview here in Dingle. Maria, do you think there's something about Dingle that attracts artists and musicians such as yourself? People say it's quite a creative place, but we of course have other voices from King, which you know quite well.
We were in the very first Other Voices, so I just can't believe it was all that time ago. It was 10 years ago. It was kind of amazing. Well, it's a very beautiful place. I mean, it's exquisitely beautiful. If you see, now it's kind of an unusual thing in a way to have sunshine, but
very
on a sunny day, it just seems incredibly glorious. Actually, it seems kind of just it's very beautiful, and so I suppose people always want to come to a beautiful place, don't they? And the sea is a huge attraction, and the incredibly spooky looking skelligs out there that you can have a look at, and I guess it's beautiful, and so people are always going to want to come. I do. We've been coming probably for about 20 years now, on and off, and I just always find it kind of soothing, and it's friendly, and I love that. I always initially made an attempt to use my couple focal, and some places when you do that, people are a little bit. I think it's changing now, but I used to feel that people were a little bit disdainful of my kind of Dublin accent, or that my Gaelic wasn't, perfect. Is that the word? Perfect.
Yeah, Lifa, yeah.
Lifa, and but I always found here people were very welcoming and very happy that you'd made an effort at all. So I really kind of enjoyed that as well.
Okay, that's good to hear. We've had, I suppose, a few artists and musicians coming from Dingle now who are trying to break into the music industry, and you can see it all over Dublin. What's the best piece of advice you could give them for anyone starting out?
Oh God, if only I knew. Well, I don't think you can listen to anybody else really. I think you just have to make your work. I think what I've learned really from doing this for this long is that you can only do it if you really want to do it yourself. If you have to do it, you can only do it if you have to do it. There's an incredible amount of joy. There's an incredible amount of personal expression and release from being able to write and perform. But there's also huge amounts of struggle and frustration and heartbreak even, and moving forward sometimes seems to be a kind of a totally random thing. I mean, probably everybody you can think of will know some people who are really talented and somehow just don't get recognition, and also there are a load of fucking idiots out there who sell a lot of records, so probably can't. Sorry,
no, that's okay.
So who knows? I don't know. I guess if you have to do it, then do it, and just make something that you believe yourself is really true. And if you're a girl and you're going to rehearsal rooms, I would advise you to bring loop paper, because there's never any.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
Lastly, Maria, your music, where is it available for anyone that wants to listen and get an idea of dates of gigs and things like that?
You find pretty much everything on my website. It's just mariadk.com, and I've taken to Twitter recently. I like to do that, so you probably find out things on that as well. But probably the website is the best place to look for info about gigs. And come and see us live. I love that.
It's mariadk.com, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks for joining us
Thank
here
you.
in McCarthy's. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Well, that's it from me here in the Red Sofa McCarthy's Bar with Maria Doyle Kennedy. An absolute pleasure, and we are going to look forward to her gig tonight and on Sunday night. So, Sinead,
Oh no, never till I meet him in heaven above. sleeping, and perhaps he'll weep over me.